Hi traders, hope everyone's well and had a great weekend. It's Monday, what's the date today? 10th of August, and we've got a new trading week ahead of us. As some of you can probably tell on our Instagram stories, we've started to do some one-to-ones with some of our members in our community. We're going to see how they go and try and create and come up with a coaching plan for those individuals and ultimately help people tap into what their goals are, what's their why, what their biggest challenges that they face are, and ultimately how we can help them. And it led me on to this because the same things crop up. You know, we are all very similar in nature as human beings, and ultimately it's the same things: holding on to winning trades for longer, closing losing trades, listening to the voices in our mind over fear and greed, and managing risk, chasing losses, sticking to a plan. Who would have thought that would be so difficult? But it is. And all of the things are very, very similar. And I've given very similar advice because the answers are valid and relevant to them individuals. And that's to use Percy. Okay, today, TradingView community, I want to introduce you to a lovely guy called Percy. I've been wondering what I can call him, and that was the quirkiest, most fun name I could probably come up with. Now, who's Percy? Right, Percy is going to be your trading mentor, our community's trading mentor. He's an electronic trading mentor, and he is sat within our strategy tester. Now, who's Percy and how can he help? Well, Percy's somebody who can tell you when to close that trade, when to open that trade, and what risk to enter that trade with. So we all need a mentor. We all need an accountability partner to keep us on that track and to stop listening to the voices in our head that tell us to enter too big than we should, or to close too early, etc., etc. Now, what Percy's also done for us, he's taken the time to test every single one of these pairs on this screen. There's 25-ish pairs. Percy has data for 4,200 trades. That's quite a lot of data. And I'm not being funny, but without Percy's help, I wouldn't have been able to have done that myself. So Percy's here to help you. And what that means is if we have trades that are open, they're open for Percy. If Percy's closed the trades, then we should have them closed too. Now, how does that help? Well, it helps us stay accountable, and it helps us stay in line with the strategy that we've found to be profitable and the settings that we have, and it keeps us on track. So, for example, let's start with AUD CAD. Percy has a sell open. He entered that trade at 0.95785. And because of the parameters we've got set up here, he entered that trade at 0.01. But what you would do to enable Percy to help you on a one-to-one basis is set your account balance in, tell Percy how much you want to trade and how much you want to risk. And Percy will magically tell you the amount of lot size that you need to enter. And the lot sizes will show then on this screen, okay? And that's really important because we shouldn't have any need to deviate from what Percy does. So instead of listening to your voices in your head telling you to trade too high risk, telling you to close that trade too early, listen to Percy. Percy is the only one that's going to keep you on track. And let me show you why. So we've had various calls with members over the last few days, and let's use Euro Yen as an example. We had this trade that was at the beginning of July, this buy. This buy trade came after this losing sell, okay? That actually was unfortunate. Price pulled back, took out the stop loss. Now, what most people might do that haven't got Percy to help them is enter this buy and probably close it after TP 1 or 2 or maybe 3. But Percy doesn't close trades there. Percy lets these trades run all the way until we see a reverse signal. So what we then need to do to stay accountable is stay in line with what Percy does. So on 121.003 was the entry price here. Percy closed that trade at 123.848. And if you're following and have set the information correctly, if you entered a trade at 0.01, which is 1,000 contracts, you would have made £20.85. And then what you'd have done is Percy would have entered the sell. We'd have followed the sell. The sell made small profit by the time it pulled back. We had some profit on the table, but we didn't take it because Percy didn't. Now, in that situation, we'd have been better off, wouldn't we, if we'd have taken profit at TP1 or 2 in that example? Yes, we would. But that's not the long game, people. It's easy to look at a chart and say, oh, I've missed out on profit on that opportunity. It doesn't matter. We've got data on over 200 trades, 218 trades on the euro yen and across all of those pairs that tells us that holding the trade until we see a reverse signal, we call it FT plus SL. What that means is follow trend with a stop loss. It tells us that's the most profitable way. Because this, for example, far outweighs some of these examples too. So use Percy. Use the strategy tester within our strategy to help you stay accountable, stay on track, manage your risk, and see him as a comfort blanket. Percy can look after you when you need looking after. If you're feeling uncomfortable over a losing run or a winning run, and staying grounded, don't get carried away, because we know, we can see the trade history that not every trade's going to win and not every losing run's going to continue. And we can see that all on here. We can click list of trades. We can see here, prime example the other day, we talked about the DAX. And if you'd entered and had 4 losing trades on the bounce, similar things happened on here. It happens across the board on any strategy. 4 losing trades and then a big trend and a £25 winner trading 0.01. So what I want to do now is show you what Percy's been kind enough to do for us across the board. So we've got data here on 4,200 plus trades over the last 2 years in how this strategy is going to help you stop doing what the 90% of people do in the marketplace, okay? And in order to come out the other end with an edge and a profitable account balance is stick to a plan. You've got to know what your plan is, and you've got to know that that plan's got an edge. Now, I'm not being funny. If you wanted to backtest 4,200 trades, that's going to take you a wee while, but Percy's done it all for us. So, or Connor as well. Connor and Percy working together, let's be honest. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through all of these 25 pairs, and I want you to understand that these parameters are based on a £500 starting account and trading 0.01. Okay, the smallest amount we can trade. And the reason I do that in this example is because I want people to understand that these equity curves are without a compounding effect. Now, obviously, we all know that if we added compounding and added risking 1% per trade, whatever you want to do, these gains would be even bigger. Okay, that's how it works. And for the benefit of those that are skeptical, what we did was, when we did these settings, was remove the compounding effect and look at a flat 0.01 lot size, because we want people to look at it and not be skeptical, see the equity curves as a fair reflection. So let me start. So we've got AUD CAD, we've got 24% profit, 200 trades. AUD CHF, not so great, still profit, 251 trades. Notice we've got the percent profitable. We speak about this all the time about win rates. We've got a great return here, 42%, again, 0.01. AUD JPY at 42% is one of the best pairs. And if we change this to, for example, okay, well, what is it if we risked 1% per trade, then we can see the net effect. So there we go. So if we risked 1% per trade on AUD yen over a 2-year period, we've over doubled our initial £500 account. That's on one pair. Okay, and all you've got to do is follow Percy. This is quite simple. We do what Percy does. So anyway, back to fixed lot size, because I want it to be like for like and relevant. This is a strategy with a 26% profitable win rate. You think, well, that's rubbish. It's not rubbish, because it's giving you a very, very nice net profit. And the reason it's not rubbish is because our average winner is £10. Is that the average winner? Let's have a look. Average win, yeah. Average win is £10. and our average loser is £1.53. So that's nearly a 10-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And all we've got to do is follow Percy. Simple as that. But what we can't do is ignore Percy and close these trades too early. We've got to stick to the plan, everybody. AD USD, there we go, 29%. Again, 0.01, not 1% risk. Another profitable one. Some of these CAD pairs need a bit more work on the testing. They're not as good as some of the others, but I'm being transparent, so you can choose what you wanted to trade or not. CAD JPY is a nice pair, very low maximal drawdown. That's the maximum losing run that we've incurred. And 39, is that 39? Yeah. 53 euro AUD, nice. Not many trades, 101 over 2 and a bit years, but still a 53% gain on 0.01. Okay, Euro CAD could be better. We'll have a play around with them settings to try and improve them. Euro Pound, a nice run here with this equity curve. I like to see a more level equity curve, something similar to Euro JPY, because we're not, I mentioned this the other day, we'd like to see a nice steady growth on the equity curve. Euro USD is another one, and again, we flick this to 1%. What happens here? Well, we had 176% gain, risking 1% on the other pair, and this will be similar, I'd have thought. Here we go, 118%. So if you've traded just those two pairs and risked 1% per trade, you've doubled your account on both pairs. So £500 account is almost at £2,000 over that 2-year period. Now they're massive gains, and I'm only using 500 just as a lean example, and that's without looking at how everything else stacks up too. So ultimately, I just wanted to hop on, talk about Percy, and show you his work. 4,200 trades, data in here, and we share as many as we can, trading view ideas, but ultimately, trade them as you wish. See if they support your. There's a good one. Pound CHF, 65% trading, 0.01. Trade as you wish. Follow them as we do. Hold them to whatever take profit you want. Great trades on gold and Euro USD last week, and to be fair, they might continue further. And that's the basis of our strategy. But I guess if you haven't got the strategy, you'd be unable to follow until reverse signal, because you're not going to see that reverse signal unless we post it all the time, and that's obviously not going to be the case. Kiwi pairs, there we go, 35%. So I could keep going, but there's 4,200 trades within all of this data. We've got the data at our fingertips. We know how to execute. All you need to ask yourself a question is, will you listen to Percy, and will you do as Percy does? That's literally it. Hopefully that helps, makes sense, and I'd like to genuinely think we're helping our traders stick to a plan, believe in a plan, and execute. And this is a rules-based mechanical trading strategy. There is no subjectiveness to any of this. We don't see different things on different days at different times across different pairs. We've got data, and it's important to have your edge and know how you're going to execute. And if you went for a heart operation or a brain operation, and your doctor decided to ignore everything he was taught, not listen to a plan, and do what he felt like he wanted to do, people die. And ultimately what we've got here is just the need to follow what Percy does and stick to a plan. That's all we need to do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope that helps.